Welcome to this edition of Head to Head. I'm your host, Cam McKinney, and this is episode number 386 of the podcast. And on this episode, I'm talking about Red Sox third baseman Alex Bregman opting out of his contract. This week, it's been reported that Red Sox third baseman Alex Bregman is planning on opting out of his current deal with the team to test free agency. This is an interesting case, as there are reasons to why he should and why he should not opt out of his contract. Let's start with the why he should opt out. I said this the minute the Boston Red Sox traded away Rafael Devers. They gave Alex Bregman control of the situation because now instead of choosing between two third basemen, they can only pick one, and it's Bregman. And the alternatives at this point do not move the needle. Last offseason, the team was given a lot of goodwill for signing Alex Bregman, and they are now in a position where, if they want to keep that, they need to pay him yet again. One thing that really has happened in the eyes of Red Sox fans and the media is Alex Bregman has become a leader of the team. He's the guy with the playoff pedigree. The casual baseball fan does not care about clubhouse chemistry, but that's surely going to be a narrative if he decides to leave the team and sign elsewhere. Let's face it, Alex Bregman is the biggest name on the Red Sox currently. I would not call him their best player, but he's up there. And when it comes to the Red Sox, fans do not want to hear they are losing a big name because the team does not want to spend money. What's going against Alex Bregman is he is 31 years old and misses time. Last year, he played in just 114 games, hitting 18 home runs with 62 RBIs, and it's tough to think that the injuries are going to go away as the years go on. It's also like, what exactly is Bregman looking for? This has the feeling of a player who is looking for one last big payday. I mean, we're talking somewhere in the realm of 5 to 7 years for this contract. The other teams that are going to be interested in Alex Bregman are contenders. This is a player who has 2 World Series titles to go along with 19 career postseason home runs, a team that everyone, and I mean absolutely everyone, talks about when it comes to Alex Bregman is the Detroit Tigers because of his history with their manager A.J. Hinch, who was with Bregman in Houston. One of the biggest reasons Detroit may be looking to make a big splash this offseason is because they have a window right now where they need to win. There's been some talk this week about whether or not they're going to be able to afford to keep ace Tariq Skubal long term. So you need to take advantage of the fact that you have one of the best pitchers in baseball. Another team you have to think is going to be in on Alex Bregman is the New York Mets. They had a disappointing year. They brought in Juan Soto. They might lose Pete Alonso. Alex Bregman makes sense. You play Alex Bregman at third base, and then you move Mark Vientos to first base, and I think you have a pretty good lineup even if you lose Alonso. I also think when you're talking about Alex Bregman, you have to talk about the idea of a potential reunion with the Houston Astros. They brought back Carlos Correa. They have a veteran-laden team that might have one more run in them to win another World Series or two. Last year, Alex Bregman was willing to take a shorter-term deal with the Boston Red Sox, but now it appears that things have changed. I think the team that offers him the most years is going to be the team that lands Alex Bregman. And that right there is the modern issue with baseball contracts. Should a team be willing to make a long-term sacrifice for short-term goals? Because yes, bringing in Alex Bregman right now makes you a better baseball team. For the Red Sox to have the best team possible, they need Alex Bregman. But long-term, what is that contract going to look like? Is it going to look like an arbitrage during year 4 or 5 when he's not even half the player he used to be? We all know how sports fans are. Fans of the Boston Red Sox want the team to spend all the money in the world to bring back Alex Bregman. but these same people will be talking about how bad of a contract it is if the team hasn't won anything and Alex Bregman isn't the same player he used to be in that fourth or fifth year of a long-term deal. I personally think it's better to be stuck with one of those types of contracts when you're giving it to a player who has a long-term history with the organization. For instance, when Miguel Cabrera was getting paid by the Detroit Tigers and he wasn't the same player, it was okay because Miguel Cabrera had so much success with Detroit. He was one of the best players in franchise history. But when Albert Pujols was aging, he was a member of the Angels. They had absolutely no history with Albert Pujols. That fan base didn't get to live the great Albert Pujols years because he did all of his success in St. Louis. Right now, after one season, fans of the Boston Red Sox love Alex Bregman, but how are they going to feel about him if in 2 years he's not the Alex Bregman he is right now? It would be different if he were in Houston because he would still be viewed as a beloved figure who has helped the organization win multiple World Series titles. My point is, it's always best for a player to age in a place where he's already had tremendous success. I mean, Dave Dombrowski just made some comments about Bryce Harper, and even if Bryce Harper isn't the Bryce Harper he used to be, at least he's in Philadelphia, a city where he's had some of the best years of his career. I think the most risk would be a team adding Alex Bregman, like the Mets giving Alex Bregman a 6-year deal sounds kind of crazy to me. The Tigers giving Alex Bregman 6 years sounds kind of insane. At least with Boston, you have this 1 year to fall back on. So even if you give him a 5-year deal and in the 3rd year he's not very good, they would have seen him be an elite player. I really do think him opting out all goes back to the Rafael Devers trade. If they had kept on to Devers, then I think this would be more of a decision for Alex Bregman to make. But the minute they made that move, they forced his hands and made him opt out of this deal because he now has all the leverage when it comes to the Boston Red Sox. He has all the power to get a raise, either from them or someone else. My main concern as a fan of the Boston Red Sox is this entire offseason is now going to be about bringing back Alex Bregman. And this is a guy who was one of the last big signings last offseason. That was their entire offseason, was bringing in Alex Bregman. And I don't want that to be their entire offseason again, because it's like, guys, you already had Alex Bregman. Right now should be about making the team even better than it is right now. It should not be about bringing back your own guys. But here we are. And on top of that, we don't even know what's going to happen with Trevor Story. At least they were able to re-sign Aroldis Chapman before he entered free agency. And here's the thing, Bregman himself might have even more suitors by the time the postseason is over. Look at the Toronto Blue Jays. If they don't make it to the World Series, they're going to have to make some moves this offseason. Bo Bichette, who didn't even make the ALCS roster, is going to be a free agent. Are the Blue Jays going to go all in on someone like Alex Bregman, who they were in on last offseason? There's a chance he joins a Red Sox divisional rival. And I didn't even want to mention the LA Dodgers because it's depressing to think about, but any big-time free agent could realistically end up a member of the Dodgers. Some people were really surprised to see Bregman opt out because he did go through the injuries. He only drove in 62. He had a very good season with the Red Sox on paper, but I think if you watch the season, he was a pivotal part of that roster, making the jump to becoming a postseason team. What I'm getting at is he's the guy who's thought of as more than just the stats. He is viewed as a winner, which is not something every free agent can say. He has that cachet. Oh, I went to the Red Sox. They were a last place team the last few years, and then I went there and they made the postseason. He's a known commodity. You know what you are getting out of Alex Bregman. He's a steady hand. He's going to play Gold Glove caliber third base. And last year, to me, really proved he knows how to play the media game, because when all of that was happening with Rafael Devers and all the talk about Bregman playing second base, he just kept quiet and never made it about himself. That's why he's viewed as a leader and a tremendous teammate, unlike Rafael Devers. Last year, he did prove he could handle a bigger market in Boston. I know Houston is a good market for baseball. They were a winning team, but Boston is a different kind of animal, and Alex Bregman proved he could thrive in it. What this decision is going to come down to is how much do the Boston Red Sox currently believe in the young guys, Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, Tristan Campbell. Are they willing to make it those guys' team over Alex Bregman? Like, do they believe those three guys are going to be the face of this team moving forward? And because of that, we don't need to pay Alex Bregman. And if they do believe that, that's a risky proposition. And one thing that's not really being talked about in all this, that I'm sure is going to irritate Red Sox fans, is this idea like, did you only want Alex Bregman because he was willing to take a shorter term deal? Like, why are you, the Boston Red Sox, so afraid of giving a star player long-term money? You have the money, you have the fan base that's loyal to you, you have Fenway Park. Why are you saving this money? Spend it on the team. And in that sense, you do have to give the Red Sox credit. They got Garrett Crochet, they ended up paying him, but again, that's a young player on the rise. These other teams like the Dodgers, the Mets, they are willing to pay 30-year-olds 5 to 7 years, a lot of money, and say, I don't care what you're going to be in 4 years. I'm going to give you this money now so we can win as many titles while you're still in your prime. Absolutely no one knows how Alex Bregman is going to age as a baseball player. He still may be as good as he is right now in 3 to 4 years. But the real question is, do you believe right now with this version of Alex Bregman, you can win the World Series? If the answer is yes, the Red Sox need to do anything and everything to bring this guy back. The absolute worst thing that could happen for the Red Sox is you lose Alex Bregman and you don't make a significant move to make up for the loss. I mean, what would be significant? Would Red Sox fans really be happy if they lose out on Alex Bregman, but they bring in a guy like Pete Alonso? I don't think so. Maybe they would be pumped for Kyle Schwarber, but I think there are Red Sox fans out there that want Bregman back and they want Pete Alonso or Kyle Schwarber. Like, they want Bregman back and they want you to make that significant offseason move, whether that's bringing in a big bat or a pitcher like Joe Ryan. Bregman is one of those guys Red Sox fans have really connected with. They want to see this guy play here for a significant number of years. They do not want this to be an Adrian Beltre situation where Beltre had one incredible year with the Red Sox and then signed long-term with the Texas Rangers and then went on to have a Hall of Fame career. A similar situation kind of happened with Victor Martinez. They let him walk to the Detroit Tigers. Now, he was no longer a catcher, but he was still one of the best designated hitters in the league after he left the Red Sox. Unless the team has a post-Alex Bregman plan, they should not let go of Alex Bregman. And it's hard to look at their roster and go, they have a plan. I mean, if they go into spring training with Marcelo Meyer as the third baseman of the team, there's going to be so much pressure on that guy to be very good right away. It's also going to be very hard to convince your fan base that getting rid of one of your best defenders is good for a team that led the majors in errors last year. I think for the first time in a long time, the Red Sox need to and should prioritize the right now over the long term. They should not care what Alex Bregman is going to be like in 3 to 4 years. They should care about what Alex Bregman is right now, which is vital to their future success. That's where I'm at. I think they need to eat the money. I think they need to pay this guy what he wants to be a member of the Boston Red Sox. They need to make it happen. I mean, could you imagine if they end up losing Alex Bregman to the Blue Jays? Even the Tigers, I would not be able to take it. Last year you got him, you picked the right guy, it ended up working out. Now you need to do everything you can do to keep him here. I mean, yes, obviously there are other factors involved here. Does Alex Bregman want to remain a member of the Boston Red Sox? Does he see an opportunity elsewhere to win right now? That I do find kind of hard to believe. I mean, Bregman should look at the roster and go, these are a bunch of players that are only going to get better. Ceddanne Rafaela is going to get better. Garrett Crochet is going to get better. Roman Anthony is going to prove that he's probably a future star of the sport. You would think that those are going to be things that are going to entice Alex Bregman to stay. But what we do know is he's not going to take a discount to stay here. You are going to have to give him a significant amount of money. Now, do I know it's going to have to be the highest offer? I don't know, but his agent is Scott Boras. You know, the guy who got the huge paydays for the likes of Alex Rodriguez and Juan Soto. He knows this is Bregman's last chance to get that huge payday. I mean, what if a team is willing to go 7 years on Alex Bregman? Do I think the Red Sox are going to match that offer of a 7-year deal? Absolutely not. And I do think some fans would be on their side and say, well, that guy's not worth 7 years. He's not going to be good in 4. But if they lose Alex Bregman to a team that gives him a 5-year deal, I do kind of think that's unforgivable. Like, that you should match no matter what the money is. If someone is willing to give Bregman 5 years, you should too. This situation has me torn on the Red Sox offseason because I do think bringing Alex Bregman back is an important part of their future. But again, I do not want it to be their entire offseason. There are other holes on this roster that need to be filled. Going through all of this again with Bregman could end up being a real nightmare for the Boston Red Sox. Because yes, there might be a huge celebration when the team signs him back. That will be thought of as a huge victory. But if that's all they do this offseason, I will be more than a tad disappointed. Because this team has a real opportunity to improve and become a legitimate World Series contending team. They need a number 2 starter. They need a second baseman. They need to once and for all figure out their outfielder situation. Which free outfielders do you want to play every day? But now, until he signs with them or goes elsewhere, it's going to be all about Alex Bregman and bringing him back. I'll end with this on Alex Bregman. He played this absolutely right. He did not negotiate with the Red Sox during the season, even after they got rid of Rafael Devers, because not only does he now have the chance to see what else is out there, he's now going to see how desperate the Boston Red Sox are going to be to bring him back, because he, like me and you, know how much the fan base cares about bringing him back, and the media reaction is only going to help his cause to getting that last big payday. Here's where I'm at right now. I'm not uber confident, but I do think Alex Bregman is going to come back to the Boston Red Sox on a 5-year deal. Will it be $40 million a year? Probably, because he's not going to take less than he got last year. He's going to get paid what he did. They're just going to have to add on more years to the deal. But this situation is going to last a while because, again, things could change depending on how the rest of this postseason goes. If the Dodgers get knocked out in the World Series, maybe they'll be all in on Alex Bregman. If the Blue Jays don't make it, I could see them getting back in on Alex Bregman, and the Tigers, of course, are always looming in the background. His return to Boston is far from a sure thing, but it is something that needs to happen if the Red Sox are going to be a contending team next season. Thanks for listening to this edition of Head to Head. I'm Cam McKinney, and there'll be a new episode of the podcast every Monday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So please rate, review, and subscribe.